Alright, we've got the Z up on the ramps again. This is going to be a fun one today. We are replacing what looks to be good shocks and struts here, but they're absolutely pathetic. They are welded in, you can't replace them. The shocks actually have no shock power anymore, I guess. You can't pull them out. Spent hours trying to fix them and it wouldn't work. So we are going to whip out those, and we have some beautiful new Techno Toy front struts here, and we are going to put these fine things in the vehicle right now. So we've got the struts. There is a little thing that we needed to do, which is the silver line brake hose cables. They're a little bit different, but I think these will do the trick. Anyway, so that's the plan. Okay, so strip down's begun. Took the unhooked the brake calipers, so those are off. Pretty easy. Clamp the hose, and there it is. So, all right. Now we will pull off. Set around. This is going to come off, and then it takes away a whole bunch of weight from the messing around with the shock. So that is going to come off next. Okay, so this thing, this is how it looks once you've taken the cover off. So there's the what you call a split pin, and I'll have to bend that around to allow a split pin to come out, and then there's a big bolt, and then it allows you to pull the whole thing off. So it's looking good. Okay, so when it pulls off here, there's a little bearing, and you can see the bearing is pretty well greased up from before, so be careful that thing falls out. Now you should be able to just pull that off, and that takes a whole bunch of weight off the whole thing. Okay, so that's the stash of stuff. I put it on a big screw so I know which way around everything goes. That was easy. And the little cover plate is, I had to use a lot of WD-40 on those to, they were pretty much welded in. And I think now, if we're lucky, that thing should just come away. Now we're off to the races, so that looks a lot like the new ones. Okay, so the whole thing is off. We'll come back. This is the brake hose that we'll have to fix because we don't have the little side clamps, strut clamps, but everything is off. Relatively straightforward. All the pieces down there, and then these are the new struts. So it looks more or less the same, I think. And that's the piece that's here on this one and missing on this one, so that's why the different silver line brake hose will be used. And then there's a whole bunch of difference at the top that I'm not sure about, so we'll have to work out how that works. Alright, let's get them in. So I pulled everything off. A lot of washers down there that sitting on top of this thing. There's the hat, the spring. You can see there the challenge that I've got getting that into the what do they call this thing, a hat. So, but at least you can see if I push this down. I actually got some suspension in this thing, so I'm going to drill out the top and see if I can't get that over into that thing. Well, could have done with a drill press to do that, but I've drilled that sucker out. So I'll drop it down, clean it up, and test it out on top of there. All cleaned up, and that thing fits pretty well now. There's no other way to do it, as far as I can tell. Alright, so all connected up. That should be up there. I lowered the whatever the gold bit is. I load that right the way down. Got a bit of string holding it all together. I'm going to bolt that in, but that makes it, I'm just going to get a razor blade, slice the string, and that thing should be out in a second, but it's a lot easier to work it when it's compressed or tied down. So it looks good. So now's the fun bit, putting everything back on. We've got it there. Grease those bearings. There we go. So that's one on. If you're going to get this thing here, can you reach that? Hold on. Okay, we're all tightened up. Got a head on there. Didn't do that bolt too tight. And now I've got to put the calipers on, and I've got to get that brake hose out. Well, it is all more or less on there. There's the brake cable. I just bled the brakes, and that's the cable. I had to just let it. It seems to be a good place to put it up high, and then as it turns, it's not too kinked. So I think that's pretty good. So I'm gonna start on the other one, and should be set. Well, weekend is almost done, and both are in. So you can see here, I've got this one in, nicely done, all nicely attached off. And if we go around to the other side, same deal over here. So it's all in there. I don't know whether I meant to take this thing off. It looks as though it's going to protect the spring a little bit if it touches the coilover. But yeah, that works great. Now the only problem that I found, if on the old one we had this little thing here, and I might suggest you, if you're going to buy these, make sure it has one of these things on it, because it's a real pain otherwise. So I got the new brake hose on there, and it's all attached and all the rest of it, but when I had it before, I only realized at the last minute that as you pull it back, it made a ring, and this thing was touching the back side of the tire, and that's probably not a good thing. So repositioned it, maybe a little tire wrap on the back just to kind of hold it over there, but I had to reposition those things so that now I think that's pretty good. That's never gonna come around and hit the tire. So I just need to bleed the brakes again on both sides, and we're off to the races. All done and dusted. All right, she is back together, lowered down, and we are done. It is buttoned up, brakes bled, wheels back on, and she is looking good. And we just took her out for a spin, and no longer are we losing our teeth every time we go over a pothole. It looks pretty good. We got just a little adjustment. It's riding a little bit high on one side versus the other. I'm thinking that might just take a little bit of the springs settling down, and then we should be good to go. Yeah, good solid weekend, a few dollars, and but it's 1,000 times better than it was. And again, the only thing that was a bit of a pain and still worries me a little bit is the new ones is the lack of that, and then also whether I've really tightened up this is the old one, of course, is whether you've got the flat side on here that allows you to tighten it up. But you can see this thing is absolutely destroyed. So anyway, job done. Well pleased.